Imagine standing at a busy intersection in Tokyo, London, or New York, and you will notice a universal truth keeping chaos at bay. Red means stop, green means go, and yellow means slow down. It is a seamless global agreement that billions of drivers rely on every single day without a second thought. But why these specific colors? The answer is not just a random historical accident. It is a fascinating intersection of 19th century railway engineering, human psychology, and the fundamental physics of how light travels through our atmosphere. Long before cars ruled the roads, the foundations of the modern traffic signal were being laid on the tracks of the early railroad systems, where miscommunication literally meant a catastrophic train wreck. In the early days of rail travel, engineers desperately needed a way to signal danger or safety to fast-moving trains. Naturally, they looked to the ultimate symbol of warning: red. Red has been associated with danger and blood for centuries, but it also carries a massive scientific advantage. In the electromagnetic spectrum, red light has the longest wavelength of all visible colors. This means that as red light travels through the air, it does not scatter as easily when it hits microscopic particles like dust, fog, or water droplets, a phenomenon known as Rayleigh scattering. Because it scatters the least, red light can pierce through a thick morning mist and travel much further down a track or a road than any other color, giving a speeding driver or train engineer those precious extra seconds to react and bring a heavy vehicle to a halt. The original choice for the other colors, however, was a total disaster. Early railroads used red for stop, white for go, and green for caution. The problem with white light quickly became deadly. If a red glass lens on a signal lantern cracked or fell out, the raw white flame behind it would shine through. An approaching engineer would see a white light, assume the track was clear, and steam straight ahead into a head-on collision. After several horrific accidents caused by these broken lenses, the railway industry realized they needed a color that could never be mistaken for a normal street lamp or a broken signal. They shifted green to mean go, and they needed an entirely new color for caution. That is where yellow entered the picture, though it took a while to solidify its place. Yellow was chosen for caution because it stands out starkly against almost any background, especially in the dark or against green foliage. In fact, for a long time in the early days of automotive travel, stop signs were actually yellow and black, not red. This was because paint manufacturers in the early 20th century could not produce a red paint that wouldn't quickly fade to a dull pink under the sun's ultraviolet rays. Yellow provided the perfect visual bridge between the absolute command of red and the permissive nature of green. It has a high wavelength just below red, making it incredibly visible from a distance, and giving drivers a clear, unmistakable transition period to prepare for a full stop. When the automobile boom hit in the early 20th century, cities quickly realized that chaotic intersections needed a uniform system. In 1920, a Detroit police officer named William Potts realized that manual police whistles and hand signs were no longer cutting it in a city flooded with Henry Ford's Model T. He took the three-color system perfected by the railroads and created the world's first three-light four-way traffic signal, adding the yellow light to give drivers time to clear the intersection. The system worked so brilliantly that it spread across the United States like wildfire. By 1935, the Federal Highway Administration published the first manual on uniform traffic control devices, which standardized these colors and their vertical layout across America to prevent drivers from getting confused when crossing state lines. As international travel and trade expanded, this standardization had to go global. In 1968, the United Nations stepped in to create the Vienna Convention on Road Signs and Signals, an international treaty signed by dozens of countries to standardize traffic laws globally. This treaty explicitly locked in the red, yellow, and green system, ensuring that someone renting a car in Europe, Africa, or South America would instantly understand the rules of the road. Even the vertical ordering, red on top, yellow in the middle, green on the bottom, was strictly standardized. This specific layout serves a critical safety purpose. It allows colorblind drivers, who might not be able to tell red from green, to safely navigate intersections simply by looking at which position of the light is illuminated. There are, of course, a few fascinating regional quirks that showcase how culture interacts with physics. If you ever visit Japan, you might notice that the go light looks distinctly blue or turquoise. This comes down to linguistics and cultural history. Historically, the traditional Japanese language used the same word, ao, for both blue and green. When the first traffic lights were installed in Japan in the 1930s, The official documents called the Go light green, but the public naturally referred to it as blue. To compromise with international treaties while honoring local culture, the Japanese government mandated that their traffic lights use the bluest possible shade of green that still legally qualifies as green under international standards. Even with minor shifts in shade or the transition from old incandescent bulbs to bright energy-efficient LEDs, the core trio of red, yellow, and green remains completely untouched worldwide. It is a rare example of global harmony driven by necessity. Today, modern traffic systems are experimenting with smart sensors, artificial intelligence, and there is even serious discussion about introducing a fourth white light to help autonomous vehicles coordinate with each other at busy intersections. Yet, no matter how advanced our technology becomes, human biology remains the same. Our eyes and brains will always pick up that long wavelength of red faster than anything else, ensuring that these three simple colors will keep the world moving safely for generations to come.